Please, are you? And you're up to date, like the John Jones stuff, you know all that
on everything.
And everyone's aware John Jones failed because of estrogen blockers, which is
that what it was?
Yes, which isn't in supplements.
Right.
You know this,
which is in.
He's
supplements.
gone for 2. It's not in supplements.
It's not in supplements. So now we know it's
estrogen.
not.
You take estrogen blockers after you do a cycle of steroids to regain your natural testosterone. Yes. Because when you take testosterone, it increases your estrogen. So you want to block the high level of estrogen.
Gotcha.
So it's not a masking agent. Basically, what it is to restore your levels after you're off a cycle. Because so bodybuilders are balls deep in estrogen.
Yeah, because when you introduce a lot of testosterone in your body, your balls will stop producing as much testosterone.
Your balls go, okay, so let's shut down factory, so your balls shrink because you're getting it artificially.
Yeah. And your body wants
estrogen wants to balance, so it goes, all right, more estrogen, which is why you see guys with bitch tits, you know, with that soft, like, dad bod muscular, you know. So if you see estrogen blockers, it's 110% means you were doing steroids before. And you cannot get that in GNC, kids.
And we must also mention that when WADA does this, USADA, I think, does these tests, they not only test, so they'll test first, and then they wait, and they test a second round.
So check it. So I stayed off my phone for most of the vacation, but when I did get on, I saw all the people like, why does it take so long to get back? This is why. So when they test on June 17th, and they get it to the lab whatever days later, the reason why it takes so long is because they might test it and like, all right, we have estrogen blockers that showed up on this, but then they test that thing a jagillion times to make sure for a fact they're 100% certain that he took something, because if he didn't, he could sue the bejesus out of him.
Right.
So they test that. I mean, whenever a guy gets flagged for that, most likely you're doing some shit. So they test the piss out of it. No pun intended. They test the piss out of it a jagillion times to make sure he's on it. And then they go, all right, we want the B sample. All right, let's test the B sample. So when they test that, same shit. So John Jones is basically done. Your best fighter of all time. The show is over. And I've been his biggest supporter. Show's over.
Do you think it's over?
It's over. So because the first, right, so...
How long is he banned for? I'm sorry.
2 years.
He's banned for 2 years.
And then I don't know his probation violation. I don't think estrogen blockers will violate that. But
so he can't fight. He's not fighting for 2 years.
2 years. For estrogen. Because if you would have took a tainted supplement, you probably would have got 6 months. You get in 2 years with estrogen blockers.
That's a giant...
2 years, and he's 28, so the 2 best years of his life. And then... But the thing, fans just they can't forgive you on this one, because UFC. Let's just think about this: UFC 200, hands down the biggest UFC of all time. The card was the biggest of all time. You're the main event against Daniel Cormier, who you guys have been scheduled to fight 4 times and it's fallen out for whatever reason. Finally, it's here. They've put in all this marketing dollars. You got Brock Lesnar on the card. You got Misha Tate. You got Aldo. You got Frankie Edgar. You got Kane. Right? You have who's fucking who, and 2 days before the fight, you fail a steroid test. So then the fans, remember, let's go back to where he started. He was drunk, high, hit a pregnant lady, broke her arm, fled from the scene. We forgave him for that for whatever reason. I did too. I was like, well, mistakes. He's not that young, but mistakes, whatever. He fled from that, does his time. We all forgive him. He comes back. And now you completely fuck yourself. The fans are just like, fuck you. Fuck you. There's no way.
Explain to me what he was thinking. We know, first of all, he's winning without steroids. First of all, he's winning.
Is he, though? Let me tell you this. If you're taking estrogen blockers, I'm not going to taint his career, but I'm going to tell you this. It's just not something you tried out once, especially when USADA's snooping around.
Right.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. If you took estrogen blocker, that's not if he took a supplement and there's like some weird testosterone booster they got from GNC, I'm like, all right, yeah, that's whatever. When there's estrogen blockers, steroids. Well, now you're probably dealing with a doctor, a scientist. There's a whole track here. Sure. Yeah, it's.
But we also know wasn't there a story where people came, and I don't know if this is true, but there are rumors that when people came to test him one time, he hid under the ring, under the mat, for a long time, and might have even peed under there. Yep. And they were going to
trying to scrape that to test the pee.
Damn.
So your whole you can't. It's such a bummer. I mean, you're talking. I mean, remember when Mike Tyson just had this epic meltdown? Remember that?
Yes.
That's what you're seeing.
So
there.
2 questions.
It's game over.
One is there any way for him to appeal that? Will they make an exemption?
A and B, there's no exemption. No.
So you're done for 2 years. We're
Done
not going
for
to
2
see him
years.
fight for 2 years. Okay, so that's the first question. The second question is why? When you could have done it without it, or maybe he's never.
That's the thing.
Okay.
I'm not.
But
I'm
also,
not making accusations.
Testing
but
like motherfuckers. You're not going to beat.
you know what the problem is? You have someone in your ear who goes, "Bro, I'm a doctor, or I'm a scientist. I'm ahead of this. This will be out of your system before you fight." What's random now, my man?
It's random now.
Or maybe he thought they're not going to check for this, or he thought he was ahead of the curve or something, and he got caught. And it was the biggest mistake ever made by a UFC fighter. Ever. You're the pound for pound greatest of all time.
I hope he saved his money.
Game over.
And the best he can hope for is in 2 years come back and basically win and do something. What do you think of the fights overall?
I wasn't that impressed. I mean, listen, it's no one's fault. I thought the captain of the day by far goes to Cain Velasquez. I thought he looked absolutely amazing. Good. Travis Brown, and obviously I know this, is a complete monster. Hasn't looked great since he switched camps, let's be honest. He beat me, whipped he fucking do. I tell dick jokes. And then he poked Matt Mitrione in the eye. Yeah. It didn't look great. And then he got beat by Andrei Arlovski, right? Yeah. And then, now you got this.
Boy, Cain looked like the old Cain. And didn't even keep his head, didn't pin him against the cage. It was almost like Cain was
he just outstruck him.
Yeah, Cain was like,
he was like, oh, you think I'm going to fight like that?
Check this out.
Here's a spinning wheel kick to your beard, son.
Yes.
Badoom.
And I'm going to come in and I'm going to close that. Bang, bang. Here's a spinning wheel kick to distract you. Caught you a little bit. Bap, bap,
then let me mount you from the back like you did my friend, little Schaub here. I'm going to do the same to you. I'm going to do the same to you. Brown pride, son. Brown pride, son.
And by the way, didn't even bother to. It was just amazing. The whole thing was mind blowing. It didn't even bother to keep the way he fought Junior Dos Santos, head in his chest the whole time, head in his chin.
See, guys like that,
step back, bap, bap, bap.
USADA helps guys like Cain and DC.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Because they went, oh shit, yeah, they are testing. Wow. We've never done shit. Check this out. So I bet we see Cain the champ.
I think so.
He'll fight the winner of Overeem Stipe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm putting my money, and I think Stipe's a bad motherfucker. I'm putting my money back on Cain, I think, and only for one reason. I think Stipe is just as good a wrestler. Both D1
not
guys?
Just as good. No.
Okay.
Cain's a better wrestler.
But for UFC, for MMA,
Cain's by far better.
Oh, he is.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we got that.
Yeah.
Second of all, Cain doesn't get tired. We know that.
That's Stipe's worst matchup. If Stipe can get through Overeem, Cain waiting there is trouble.
Yeah. Do you think that since we're probably going to see a revolving door of champions, is this bad for the sport?
At light heavyweight, or what do you mean?
Just in general, man.
I think it is because you look at Joanna, right?
Yeah.
Jen Jake or whatever the fuck her name is, Joanna, JJ. We'll call her JJ. She's brought so much attention to the 115-pound division because she's such a monster. Yes. Look at Ronda for the longest time. Now 135 is kind of set, right? Yep. So you need these dominant champs. I agree. When the door's rotating, it's not you can't latch onto these stars. You just can't, which is a big reason why I believe the UFC sold. Because I went, all right, UFC in 2015 was our biggest year by far. We had Ronda emerge like a motherfucker. Conor McGregor never got bigger.
Legit mainstream stars.
Yeah. They're all, Conor lost. Ronda got kicked in the face talking about having babies and suicide. And then John Jones, is it done? Name who do you have? Name a major star who you have.
And you know what's funny?
So that's the thing. Dana White and Fertitta, both of the Fertitta brothers, You can't say they're stupid because they're not stupid in the least bit. No. The blueprint for their business plan, $2 million to $4 billion. Incredible. They're going to talk about this in Harvard Business School. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they're brilliant. They trust when I say this. They sold for a reason. They looked down the road and went, Ronda's out. Misha just lost. We had to call Brock Lesnar, fought in basically 5 years. Shit. Yeah. Conor lost. Okay, well. Yeah, it's never going to get bigger. Let's get the fuck out.
Wow.
Which is why I think they had a one bat signal with Brock Lesnar. Like, when we say we need you, we're going to fucking need you. Just give us one more fight. Brock went, you got it. They called him out, went, hey, my man, we're about to sell. UFC 200 needs to be the biggest we're ever going to have. We need you to step up to the plate.
The numbers?
You won't have to test either. Biggest gate they've ever had. We don't know the numbers yet, right? biggest gate they've ever had. I'm sure the numbers are huge. But then you look at the
very smart
you look at the
decision.
fights.
Well, they're very smart decision. So I was watching Johnny Hendricks, who doesn't look like he almost.
Fuck.
It's like where does Johnny go from here?
Talk about a guy who's
Missing weight. It looks like he almost doesn't want to